Hi guys, thanks for watching. So today I'm going to tell you about my journey about getting a hemithyroidectomy. In about June or July-ish, my husband found a large knot lump on my neck, and he was pretty worried about it, so to ease his mind, I made an appointment to go see my PCM, who checked it out. We did an ultrasound, and he looked at it, he looked at the size, and it was really big. Like, I got to see it on the screen and everything. And you know how normally on an ultrasound you can kind of like see shapes? This was like a solid thing. It was really big. And when he saw that, he was like, yeah, we gotta check this out. He sent me over to an endocrinologist, and when I went there, so I made my appointment, came in, and the nurse who saw me, after listening to my complaints, how, you know, it's worrisome, it's large, what's going on, she's like, oh, well, it's probably just thyroid cancer. Now, that's not necessarily something I would think of anybody in the medical field just throwing around. Just, oh, it's probably just cancer, when you've not even done tests. So, I can't imagine the way that must affect other people if that's something she just throws around. But carrying on, we make an appointment to have an FNA, a fine needle aspiration, so it's basically just a biopsy. They collect samples and they send it out for results. Now, the only time I saw my actual doctor, my actual endocrinologist, was during that procedure. That's because she's the only one allowed to do it. And she was really awesome. She worked with me because I've got a history of trauma with doctors doing an ultrasound guided needle procedure, and I was freaking out. I've not had a good time, and she did really well. They just did 1, 2, 3, 4 pokes, really easy. I only bled like a tiny bit, and I definitely worked it up in my head, but for the rest of the day it was pretty sore. I wasn't gonna laugh or cough because that hurt. So it wasn't supposed to take a long time for the results, and they were supposed to call me, and it was supposed to be the doctor, and she was supposed to explain things. None of that really happened. When I say really, it didn't happen. I had to call and harass the clinic. Hey, where are my results? Hey, where are my results? What's going on? I don't have my results. And finally, I get the nurse, and she goes, yes, so we're going to need you to come in for an appointment about your results. That just doesn't sound good. It just doesn't sound good. Like, hey, I'm not going to tell you what your results are. That's usually how people break bad news, right? So I come in, and I'm expecting to hear it's cancerous, it's malignant. She sits down. I say, okay, so what is it? She goes, well, I have good news. It's benign. That's fantastic. Except when I walk out, she didn't give me my results. And none of my doctors had that report. No, it wasn't a thing. So now when I go back to my PCM and be like, hey, they did the FNA and they said it was benign. He's like, really? I don't have anything about that. So I gave him the paper that she gave me, and he's like, this isn't a report. Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. He's like, and the report's not in, so I don't know if she actually knows what she's talking about. So he calls and he talks to them to get them sorted out, because lumps aren't really something you want to play around with. And finally, you know, the doctor did confirm, yes, this is benign, and she gave him the actual report. So that was good. But when I went back in after seeing that doctor and getting that confirmation, they just wanted to watch. Even though it was growing and it was becoming more bothersome, they just wanted to watch and see what it did in a year. Just do another ultrasound. Now mind you, this is big. So from here to here to here. So it's about the size of a golf ball. And it hurts to touch. It gets aggravated really easily. It makes talking really hard. So it's kind of why I sound sick. I don't normally sound like this. It's just making it difficult, and just overall hurt. It hurts. And you're like, well, it's benign, so I wasn't happy with that answer. And neither was my PCM. So he referred me to a surgeon. The surgeon looked everything over. I gave her the imaging, everything. She looks at it, she looks at me. She's kind of feeling around. She's like, wow, that's huge. It's kind of what everybody else is saying. Nobody's doing anything though. She's like, yeah, so I can definitely take that out. But because it's so big, I'm going to have to take your thyroid too. It's kind of a hard pill for me to swallow right now. Because there's not actually anything wrong with my thyroid. My thyroid labs have come back completely normal. That was the first thing that was checked. Aside from the ultrasound. My thyroid levels are totally normal. So essentially, in this surgery, that's in 2 days, is going to be removing half of a perfectly functional thyroid. So that is something I'm having a hard time coming to grips with. I talked to my EDS specialist about maybe the possibility that it was mast cell that has caused this formation. For some reason my body felt like it just needed to attack my thyroid, because the mast cell is something that my specialist strongly suspects that I'm dealing with. But there's no way to tell if it's actually mast cell or what's going on, like why it's there. I tried to talk to my PCM about it, but I found out that he's retired now. I was able to see him one last time, and he was able to hand my case over to a doctor over in internal medicine in the same clinic. So I went and I saw that doctor, and I talked to him about it, so he has the lowdown, because he's going to have to see me after the surgery. And he knows about all of my chronic illnesses. So he knows about the POTS, he knows about the EDS, the fibro, the autoimmune arthritis, the GI upsets, the cardio issues, the POTS. He's aware of all of it. And he's concerned for me also, because when they remove the half of my thyroid, they very well might have to put me on a thyroid medication, which is known to make POTS symptoms very, very difficult to manage. So he told me for the first 3 or 4 months, just be aware that it's going to be really rough going with your POTS. So just take it super lightly. So I'm glad I got that heads up. Just kind of preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. And he also gave me a heads up that they're going to be doing a pathology on the node. And he said, they do this pathology. I want you to sort of brace yourself for the possibility that it comes back malignant. Well, if it's malignant, meaning it's thyroid cancer, then they've already done the treatment. They've already removed it. So, having already been told I probably have thyroid cancer by the nurse, I've already kind of gone through that period of sort of grief and acceptance. So, that's really not something I'm worried about, as odd as that sounds. So, on December 20th, I will be having the hemithyroidectomy, hopefully to get rid of this node, and pray that it doesn't come back because I only have so much thyroid to be removed. And hope that none of my chronic illnesses make this surgery any more complicated than it needs to be. If you would like to see how I recover, kind of see what the procedure is to going into this and all of that good stuff, then subscribe. I'll be very closely documenting everything that goes on, all the nitty-gritty. And if this was helpful or you're interested in this, go ahead, let me know, drop a like or a comment if there's anything you have questions about. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.